Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in as always. We're going to take a look at the Custom Knife Factory Ossom in this video. Carried this one for a couple of weeks, got a pretty good feel for it, so getting around to a video. Now, the designer on this one is Anton Malyshev, and he's done quite a few designs with Custom Knife Factory over the years. I've got actually two here. The most recent other one is the Vexia, which is the frame lock here with the nail nick, which I thought was a fantastic knife, and I still think it is. One of my absolute favorites is the Tegral, which was their first integral knife, also designed by Anton Malyshev. And then just because it matches the color scheme, I pulled out their, this was one of their spinners they did. So, interesting model because it does use a thumb disc. It is on ceramic bearings, and then it's a frame lock, so kind of a blend of things we don't see too often these days. And yeah, let's get into it. So, specs, let's pull out the Para 2, and then just for giggles, since we have the other ones today, the Vexia and the Tegral. Alright, so specs on the Ossom here, as the model name is. Blade length of about 3.43, handle length 4.45, overall 7.87. Handle thickness 0.51 inches. There it is next to the Para 2. And then it does weigh in at just about 4 ounces for, you know, a 3.4 inch blade. Definitely not bad. Now, as I mentioned, thumb disc opening method, blade steel is M390. This one has white G10 overlays, and there's another model with the carbon fiber. This one came in at 380, and then the carbon fiber model comes in at 410. So slight upcharge for the carbon fiber. Although, to be honest, the contrast on this white G10 with the you know, the acid stonewash is actually quite a bit better than the carbon fiber version, at least in my opinion. So, let's move these other two out of the way. Oh, so nice. Alright, so I think those are the specs for the most part. Anything else that I'm missing? It just uses single row ceramic bearings, and then the pocket clip is just for right hand tip up carry. No options for left-handed users. And I think that's about it. So let me give you guys some macros real quick of this one. Torx pivot, single standoff, milled pocket clip, and then again M390 blade steel. And these are apparently numbered now. So overall impressions, this is the inglorious or illegitimate love child of the Garza and the Sequoia models, which were also designed by Anton Malyshev. So you have the same overall lines of the Garza, but the way it's constructed and the way that it feels in hand is very similar to the Sequoia. Although they have gone ahead and gone with a full flat grind, very thin blade here, hell of a slicer. So it doesn't have the same crazy action as the Sequoia. I mean, it's really smooth, but the Sequoia was a straight guillotine. That is probably in the top 3 smoothest knives that I've ever handled. This one's ridiculously smooth, but not quite Sequoia smooth. So, and again, I think the blade stock's quite a bit thinner if I do recall correctly. But anyways, you know, really good fit and finish, really good materials. Ergonomics are pretty good. You definitely feel the pocket clip, but I mean overall ergonomics, there's nothing sharp on it, and I've had no issues, you know, putting it to use. So the only thing is that the thumb disc here is a little bit sharp on the front side. Now you can flip it over, so as you can see it's a little bit wider here towards the front, a little bit, you know, narrower towards the back. You can flip it around, and the back side of the thumb stud, or the thumb disc, doesn't feel quite as sharp, but then you have less purchase. So I tried both methods, and I preferred to leave it this way. So credit to Thug knife, Happy Rainbow Sunshine Friend for the tip on, switching over the thumb disc. But, fit and finish is excellent, really smooth, nice slicer. Design-wise, it's very, very attractive, simple, clean, lightweight. So, as always, Custom Knife Factory does a really, really good job with their designs and their execution. And I think they've got a pretty full pipeline for 2018. I'm pretty sure this was the last model they released for 2017. So 2018, a whole slew of new knives are supposed to be coming. But let's look at it in more detail here. So the blade thickness comes in at 0.14, which is a little bit thinner than the Para 2, and then this full flat grind here. Again, slicing performance is going to be on par, potentially better than the Para 2. I don't have my calipers near me, but edge pretty comparable thickness. And then again, the blade stock is actually a 0.14 versus like 0.145. So I mean, it's, for all intents and purposes, it's almost exact. Obviously there's a swedge along the spine, so it actually makes it look a little bit thinner than it is. But it's essentially, we can say that it's in line with slicing performance of the Para 2 here. So there's that. So swedge up top, acid stonewash with some satin flats here. Kept really clean lines on the flats and the grinds in general. Sometimes when you do these, the lines can get blurry and kind of ugly, but these are executed quite well. And then again, as I showed you already, M390 blade steel. This one's numbered 96, so apparently they're numbering these. The thumb disc, as far as a resting spot for your thumb in this grip, pretty comfortable. Has some pretty nice traction, and then you can take it off if. Well, I suppose you could take it off if you wanted to, but then it would just be a two-handed opening knife. So, yeah. So there it is. As you can see, we'll call it a sharpening notch, is right in line with the thumb disc. So on a fixed angle system, should be pretty much to the end. But again, you can take off the thumb disc if you need to, if that gets in the way for sharpening. But sharpen all the way to the edge. So yeah. All right. Action. Opens quite reliably. It's very, very smooth. A close look at the thumb disc here. Alright, so the handles, again, two variations. This is the white G10. You guys are going to see some discoloration here for my jeans because I've carried this one quite a bit. Now, white G10 obviously it does get dirty, but you can always, take off the scales and then wash them. And I believe I didn't disassemble the knife completely. You may have to take out the pivot and then the two body screws here to get it off, but I'd have to wait for it to get much, much dirtier than this. I don't really care if it gets a little bit dirty. I think the blue here on the white actually adds a little bit to it. Obviously we have a pivot ring here around the pivot, Torx T10 pivot. As with most custom knife offerings, they don't come with Loctite, and so I did add Loctite and I retightened the pivot. That's a non-issue for me. It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations. If you do add Loctite, people bitch about the fact that there's Loctite. You don't add Loctite, people bitch about the fact there's not Loctite. So it's a non-issue for me, but I did Loctite the pivot. Alright, so obviously the G10 is an inlay here into the titanium handle, as you guys can see. No large gaps or anything in between the G10 and the titanium. Very clean, and they do this a lot, but what that does is it gives you a perfectly symmetric look with between the show side and the lock side. So at a quick glance, aside from the pocket clip, you can't tell the difference, which I've always appreciated on their designs. I think it's a really great attention to detail. So anyhow, pocket clip is milled titanium. The lines tie in with the handle, but they also offer traction. Pretty good in jeans, a little bit tight, although looks like I could potentially bend in the middle of the clip a little bit, but overall works just fine with my jeans, and so obviously that is important to me. One single standoff, some jimping here at the back. There's your stop pin, and they went through and did some pretty heavy skeletonizing, as you guys can see here, hopefully. See all the lint in there because I've been carrying it. But yeah, pretty large cutout right here. Internal cutout for the lock bar. Man, there's a lot of lint in there. C'est la vie. So, yeah. So I think that's pretty much it for most of the details. A little bit of jimping here on the back of the spine of the blade, doesn't really do much, but the disc offers a pretty good amount of grip. So again, ergonomically, pretty comfortable in my hand. I do feel the pocket clip, but nothing sharp on it. So yeah, I mean, it's performed really well overall. I think that this blade shape with all that belly and as thin and full flat as they ground it, it's just an ideal user. If you don't want the knife to get dirty, opt for the carbon fiber overlays instead of these white G10 ones, but the white G10 looks awesome with it, even if it does get dirty. So centering is perfection. Lockup with that stainless steel lock insert is about 50%. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And then no blade play, so yeah. And I did, when I initially put the pivot Loctite and I put it in, I over cranked it, and then the action one was not as nice. So again, just fine tune it if you do need to Loctite it. Again, the chamfering in here on the lock bar is very generous, very comfortable to disengage. It's got, the Sequoia had a very similar feel in terms of disengagement and just how it felt. So yeah, pretty cool design. Again, they do a really good job with execution and the designs that they come out with. So one of the offerings that I'm most excited about for 2018, I'm assuming, is the Peter Vicente Satori, which will be their second integral after the Tegrals. So anyways, that is a look at the Custom Knife Factory Ossom. I don't know, comments or questions, let me know. But a lot of good stuff is going to be coming out in 2018 here. We will all be unquestionably broke from all the good knives coming out. So thanks so much for watching, guys. You can always follow me on Instagram as EpicSnuggleBunny as well. Give me a thumbs up if you found the video useful or were mildly entertained or not entertained in the slightest. I'll take it anyway. So thanks so much for watching. See ya.